Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about what WARNO should do differently in comparison to past games, such as like adding more maps, map editor, being able to transfer units. We'll get into all to this, but like the first things first, the biggest thing that Eugen absolutely needs to do differently in comparison to Wargame and also Steel Division is absolute transparency. There are so many things about Steel Division and Wargame that just make no sense. For example, in SD, there are dozens of like hidden stats that are not necessary at all. Like here's an example. 20th year is like a perfect example of no communication between the testers, the community, and everything. They had a bug and they fixed it recently where this Jaeger Pioneer had like 17 or more high explosive shells, which is like these kill a squad on like pretty much one hit. And the whole community kept bringing it up, and there was no talk, no like conversation about what's going on, how to improve it at all, like zero information about it. And then one day it's fixed. Okay, they fix it. I don't even believe they put it in the audit log that they fixed it, but they fixed it. And then the next update, it comes out and it's back to the old bug. We have the same issue, and there's no information about why that bug came back or anything like that. And another thing too, like they've had bugs for the past. They did fix it finally, but they had double tap for a long time, like a whole year for this game. You could double tap, and that's, if you guys don't know what that is you could fire an APCR round, turn the APCR off, and pretty much automatically fire an AP round, turn the AP off, and then while this was firing, it also had already reloaded the APCR, and you can just keep firing instantly. And I don't understand why they're like not transparent about it. I mean, another key example is like when they have maps broken, when they have an update or something like that. They kind of like, instead of saying sorry, we're gonna fix it, they talk back and they pretty much start like drama with their community when they honestly just have to say like, well, hey, we're working on it, we'll fix it, and so they're kind of just like an absolute disaster in the conversation. I mean, another thing too is constantly they have patches come out and there's hidden stats that aren't listed in the patches. I mean, there already are tons of hidden stats within the game already. Like you don't need to look that far to see that. Like for example, let's say a key example, like veterancy here. It it's like, where does it tell you, like what this veterancy does? Like you need to look online what it does, guys. There's also no key like indicator of penetration of range. You have no way. Like a nice tool would be to be able to see how far you can actually penetrate. I don't understand why these things aren't in the game. And then they constantly have updates, guys, with like no information. Like there was an update recently where tank speeds have been changed, but there was no patch notes about tank speeds. There's no information given about it. It was just changed. And these like a lack of like communication too is pretty brutal. Like they talked about a map editor like 6 to 7, maybe even 8 months ago. And we haven't heard anything back from it, even though it's one of the most requested things. Like that this game like it absolutely needs a map editor, guys. I think it's too key, like too it's too important not to. Like if you play, for example, let's just say, for example, you want to host a 4v4 game, and you only have like 5 maps. Like you only have 5 maps, guys. And if you're a 10v10 player, right? That's even less. Like you have 5 maps for 10v10 that aren't even 10v10 maps. And this is the biggest thing that I think we should go into next, is a map editor. It is going to be absolutely necessary to have a map editor in this game to keep the game fresh and unique. Like otherwise, like you're just going to keep playing on the same maps. Like, and I don't understand, another issue too in the maps too is even if they don't give us a map editor, they can still work with the maps we have. Like this map right here is a 3v3 locked. It can never be any other size, but it can definitely be made into a 1v1 and 2v2. And you can definitely rotate the angles where you're coming in and out, which would just add more maps into the game. But instead we get nothing, and I don't understand what the lack of options are. And this seems like the biggest thing, because if you keep having to play on the same maps, guys, it gets stale. Furthermore, like the UI accountability, like they need to add options, like more options in here. Like for example, if people want to play with a time limit, like just add an option. Like I don't feel like it's bad to add the option. I'm like, for example, I'm not pro timer. Like I don't like to play the time limit, but other people do, and there should just be an option right here to select it. But that's not the case at all. So Yeah, like let's go to another thing about the map editor, guys. Like I don't know what you guys think, but like I'd be really curious what you guys think about it. I think Company of Heroes, for example, does a really good job of having tons of maps, rotating them regularly, keeping the game fresh for multiplayer. Yeah, so that I think that's key. But then another thing too, the armor we're talking about, I already kind of hinted at it. There needs to be more options to see what can penetrate what and at what ranges. Like some like mode where you can like set up a tank in the distance and have your tank and kind of just shoot and just see if you can penetrate. What are the odds of penetration? What are the odds of doing damage? What are the odds of winning that engagement? And like an option in the army would be really awesome. Just absolutely amazing. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think that'd be a really cool feature. I think it would increase the knowledge of the game, and it would also increase the getting feedback for balancing, seeing what beats what. It would definitely help new players, right? If you're a new player, just come into the armory, fool around with the tank, see how an Abrams would do against a T80 and see who would win most engagement, who can penetrate what at what range, where do you want to get that sweet spot. Like if that was an ST2, for example, like Panther Ds against IS2s, you can kind of practice and see where you can actually penetrate an IS2 regularly and where not. But instead you got to go in a game with a buddy and kind of just like test it yourself, and it's you can do that, but it's not a quality of life thing. And I think that'd be a really cool feature in Warno if they would actually put it in there. And then the next thing is about transferring units, guys. Like, there must be, and I say must be, a unit transfer ability, guys. There's gotta be some way. When I'm in a lane, for example, with my buddy, I'm playing here is Norman. Where is Norman? I'm in here. Let's say my teammate on the left here, Vaughn over here needs help. Instead of, like, me sending units over here and having to micro them, I need to micro my own front anyway. Let me just transfer units. Men of War Spot Squad 2 has this, where you can transfer units between teammates. This would be such a quality of life feature for everybody. I don't think anyone would be against this. I think everyone would be pro for this. I think it would be really cool to be able to just transfer units. And I think I see other Total War games, like Total War does this, Men of War Spot Squad does this. I think it's definitely doable. And it's already kind of a thing. Like, you already, like, in Wargame, for example, inherited units when a player drops. So I don't see how there isn't a way to be able to transfer units. And I don't know, that'd be really awesome. I think everyone would agree on that. I hope everyone else, like, what do you guys think about that? I think that'd be a really cool tool. Also, there's, like, the problem of AI taking control of a lane. I am in the favor of having a player take control of the units. And then you guys can, like, if you add a feature where you can, like, give up units, like, transfer units over. So I know that when this player drops and it gives over one unit, he can like dish it out to his teammates and stuff, instead of an AI just kind of running down the lane and committing suicide, which is not great. But yeah, that's like a huge thing also that needs to just be added in the game. I think it would just make everything a lot better. Furthermore, smart orders I think need to be adjusted for a modern combat setting. Like, I don't know what you guys know about, like, I can't imagine counter battery. The counter battery is going to be in the new game, right? And the thing is with counter battery is it's going to be like, what is this? It's going to be precision shot. It's like modern ordnance, man. Furthermore, like defensive fire in SD2, guys, if you didn't know, it shoots, if you put a defensive order right in this area, even if you can't see anything, your artillery will automatically start firing at it. Which is a problem, I think, with modern ordnance. I think it should only fire at things that it sees, rather than, or it's been spotted, rather than just like it just shoots generally invisible stuff. It feels like a map hack in a way. Another thing too is I need to take away the feature where you can zoom in back here, and then I can zoom in back here, and hear the armor units moving down the road. Like, I have no line of sight, but I can hear them coming down the road. I think that takes away from surprise, especially surprise pushes in unique areas. You'll see a lot of times in 1v1s and team games, guys will zoom in, they will hear the vehicle, they have no spotting of it, and they'll just know that there's a tank push coming from this direction, and they can counter it. That would be really nice to try and solve. I know it's kind of a tough problem to solve, but if you do that, then if they're able to actually solve that issue, then they'd be able to put unique sounds for vehicles. Pretty cool. Right now, every vehicle in ST, I think, and Wargame just sound the same. There's no real difference between the vehicles, and I think it's because of that problem that I was speaking of. And yeah, I would just be really curious, guys, what you think. These are just a couple of my things. I think map editor, more transparency, unit transfers. There's obviously things with UI changes would be great. A better armory would be great. But we'll have to just see what they give us. It's obviously pretty early right now. But I'd be really curious what you guys think is a must add to the new Warno, or something that should be taken out. Anyway, guys, this is just my thoughts. Just, let me know what you guys think.